Everyone has their own demons, from the natural to the supernatural. What is it you fear the most? Let's bring it to life tonight. Turn off those lights, get into bed, and see it all. This is the story of Blurryman. No one knew what he was. He could have been a man who cursed himself. He could have been a demon taking the form of a man. Regardless, that didn't stop young adults from messing around with him once they'd outgrown Bloody Mary. The rules of his game were simple. If you saw him clearly, your face would disfigure. You had to be alone in a room with all the doors shut. Light a match, don't let it go out, as long as you hear him behind you. No one knew how long he stayed. It varied from seconds to hours. Some noticed discrepancies. The more frequently some did it, the longer he stayed. This led to people going into decaying properties, abandoned homes, supermarkets, and even an old boat dock, and in some cases, trapping one another with him. This is one of those cases. Her name is Noel. Her night started with a text and ended with her stumbling over the bodies of her friends. What happened in between was becoming more of a blur. The candle in her hand was almost burned out. Her foot hit something unfamiliar, and wax poured down her hand. Shafts of morning light speared through the boarded-up windows, taking over the burden of the dying light. Noel stumbled through the remains of the house, finally accessing the front door and pushing it open, ramming herself into it since it had become stuck. Daylight. In the daylight, she sat, trying to remember. She remembered marking the text with the thumbs down. She remembered her two friends coming to pick her up anyway. Frustration. I'm staying in the car. She felt the words on her lips, disjointed. A quick 2-hour drive, an old barn, alcohol. Noel felt around for her phone and noticed she couldn't see her hands clearly. Her glasses. She couldn't remember where the hell her glasses had been put. They could be forgotten. She wasn't going back in there. She realized she'd put the candle down on the grass. Intrusive images, intrusive feelings, dread. She remembered the dread in giving up. Her body remembered turning around, breath on her neck. Screaming, but echoey screams. Can you see me? A blurry, lumpy face. Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? Specks of red on her hands. She wasn't sure if it was hers or his. Her mind was still frantically putting the pieces together. Spots of darkness were darting in her cloudy vision, and she realized very suddenly she hadn't slept yet. Her body, her mind needed space. The next thing she was aware of was her head aching, something hard pressing into her shoulder. Noel sat up slowly, unaware of her surroundings, wondering where her friends were, and then her memory surfaced. The annoying text, the 2-hour car ride, drinking alcohol, pulling their phones out, doing the Blurryman challenge. Mark had gone first. His light went out. Caitlin had gone next. She screamed, and then Mark screamed, and She took her glasses off. Distraction. It rang through her body again. Maybe one of them had told her to. Maybe it was her own idea. The candle. She was laying on the candle. How'd she lit it? The matches they'd brought. The candle in the house. The flame was still lit. And they'd stopped screaming. Can you see me? Noel shuddered. He'd held her hands. Her stomach revolted, almost throwing up its slim contents, and she felt his breath on her neck again. Can you see me? Over and over and over and over, as the candle slowly burned lower in that damn blackened room. Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? Her own breathing was so heavy. Yes. The police found the 3 young adults after they were reported missing. Noel had gone back into the house to find the phone was dead. She was still sitting outside, the sun just beginning to set, seeing the blurry lights. 3 months later, the house was gone. The man, however, never left. Can you see him?